Hello there and welcome back to this Angular course where today we're going to be going over operators. Alright, so operators just allow us to do meaningful operations with our variables. Really nothing complex. Let's get right into this. Okay, so one thing that is important to note is that we are going to be sort of skimming through most of these operators because they're so simple and I don't want to spend a ton of time on them. We're going to be skimming through most of them. So, var a equal, no, you know what? We're not even going to do a var. We're just going to do console.log. Console.log for the simplest ones here. 1 plus 1. Okay. Whoops. Console.log. I said time is of the essence here, but then I just start making mistakes that cause us time. Console.log, 2 minus 1. Let's do 3 minus 1. Then we're going to do console.log, let's see, 3 times 2. Console.log, 10 divided by 2. All right, there we go. The basic ones, let's run that. Plus minus times divided by, all super simple stuff. 2.4. Oh my god. Oh my god. I can't run it. There it is. I ran it. Awesome. Okay, now node 2.4.js. There we go. 2265, 1 plus 1, 2, 3 minus 1, 2, 3 times 2, 6, 10 divided by 2, 5. All right, awesome. Very, very simple stuff. Nothing complex at all. So we also have, of course, as in all languages, console.log, 10% 3. That's going to print 1 since 3 times 3 is 9. The remainder 1. We can do console.log. Let's see. We can also do, I don't know. Let's see. var a equals 1. We're going to do console.log a plus plus. That's gonna go ahead and print. That's gonna go ahead and print a and then add 1 to it. Or we can do plus plus a. We're just gonna go ahead and add 1 to a and then print a. And then here we can do console.log a and then minus minus. And then finally we can do console.log a. There we go. All right, let's save that, compile it, run it. Come on, come on. I feel like I'm a computer hacker here. All right, there we go. All right. 2265. Okay, then we get 1. 10% 3. Yeah, 1. There we go. We get 2 because 1 plus plus a, that's 2. Here we get 2 because a minus minus is going to print a and then subtract 1 from it. And then here we get 1 because we have subtracted 1 from a in the previous one. There we go. So those are the operators, arithmetic operators. There we go. Okay, relational operators. Let's comment that out. By the way, if you don't know how to comment, first of all, a comment just makes some code be ignored by the compiler. And first of all, second of all, a comment you could just select, highlight some text, and then just do Command or Control if you're on Windows, and then the slash, and that's going to go and comment the code in VS Code. All right, there we go. Okay, relational operators, simple stuff. So we're just going to go ahead and do console.log. 1 is more than 2, so they just check relations. Console.log. 1 is less than 2. Console.log. 1 is more than or equal to 2. And I wouldn't recommend you follow along here. This is all so simple. 1 is less than or equal to 2. Console.log. 1 is equal to 2. There we go. Console.log. 1 is not equal to 2. Yeah. Well, I mean, it's giving us a warning just because it's of course going to be, true or false. All right, there we go. That should be fine. All right, awesome. So let's run this now. Compile it, run it. There we go. We get false. 1 is more than 2. That's false. 1 is less than 2. That's true. 1 is more than or equal to 2. That's false. 1 is less than or equal to 2. That's true. 2 is equal to 2. That's true. And then 2 is not equal to 2. That is false. All right. Very cool. Those are the relational operators. Check relations. Simple stuff. Okay, logical operators used for operations with booleans. Ultra simple. Console log 1. Let's see. True and false. Console.log. True or false. Console.log. Not true. Whoops, not true. There we go. So this is going to print false, just because both of them has to be true in order for this to evaluate to true. This is going to be true because at least one of them has to be true in order for this to evaluate to true. And this is going to be false because this is just going to reverse whatever Boolean we give it, and it's going to reverse true to false. Simple stuff. Let's print it out. There we go. False, true, false. Okay, assignment operators. Also super simple. Var a equals 1. Simple assignment operator. Var a plus equals 2. Whoops, we're just going to do a plus equals 2. There it is. And then we of course got to console log them, don't we? Console log a. Console log a. There it is. A minus equals 2. Which allows us to do arithmetic operations with an assignment. Console log a times equals 2 console log a divided by equals 2 console log a. All right, there we go. Awesome. Run that. Okay, so var equals 1, we get 1. We get 3 plus equals 2, we get 3 back to 1 minus equals 2. 2 times 2, 1 times 2, that's 2. And then finally 1, a divided by equals 2, that's 1. There we go. So yeah, assignment operators, super simple stuff as well. Hello there and welcome back to this Angular course. Always great to have you here. All right, so in this lesson, we're going to be going over if-else. So the if-else statements, they allow us to make decisions, and they are used quite a bit when programming. So let's have a look at how we can use them. Okay, so we're not going to be quite rushing through this as we were in the previous lesson. We're going to take our time here just because there isn't a lot to go over. So yeah, the if statement. If, then we're going to insert some Boolean into that if statement. And if the Boolean that we insert into this if statement is true, then it's going to execute whatever we have in between these two curly brackets here. Okay, so let's go ahead and create a variable a here. Variable a equals 1. Variable b is equal to 2. Okay. And by the way, I did create lesson 2.5.TypeScript, so be sure to do that. Then if a is more than b, remember we were using this relational operator here that we went over in the previous lesson. We didn't really go over. I just showed you an example of how to use it. But it will evaluate to a Boolean. So in this case, when a is equal to 1 and b is equal to 2, a is not going to be more than b, and this right here is going to evaluate to false, right? So if we do have console.log, a is more than b here, this is not going to print. Okay, so let's go and run this. Whoops, we're running the, we're doing the wrong stuff. 2.5.ts, there we go. And node 2.5.js. There we go, you can see that it doesn't print anything. Now, if we make a 3 on the other hand, it is now going to be more than b, and in result, this expression right here is going to evaluate to true. So let's go ahead and compile that and run that. There we go, we get a is more than b. And there we go, that is how an if statement works. Okay, so an else statement will work in a slightly different way. So it's going to go after the if statement. We're going to add an else statement. And if what we have inside this if statement is going to be false, it's going to go ahead and print whatever we have in this else statement. So here we're going to do console.log a is less than b. There we go. So right now, when we run this, it's going to print a is more than b. Let's compile. Run. There we go. We get a is more than b. If we change a to 1, on the other hand, this right here is going to evaluate to false, and in result, it's going to print whatever is in this else statement here. Compile that. Run that. There we go. Now you can see it prints a is less than B. There we go. That is the else statement. Okay, so what happens now if A is going to be equal to B? So you're going to see that A is more than B is going to evaluate to false, right? And in result, this right here is going to be printed. A is less than B. But that's not true, because A is actually equal to B. So if we do go ahead and run this now, you're going to see that we get A is less than B, even though A is actually equal to B. So to solve that, we're going to insert an else if statement here. Else if A is equal to B. There we go. We can go ahead and do console.log. A is equal to B. Okay, so essentially what's going to happen is it's going to go ahead and evaluate this if statement. If this returns false, it's going to go ahead and take a look at the next else if statement. And we can have as many else if statements as we want. So we can have another one here and another one, like maybe we're checking A, if A is equal to 2, we're going to do something different. If B is equal to 2, we're going to do something else. And then at the end, it's going to have one else statement where if all the statements above the else statement will return false and not be executed, then it's going to finally run the else statement. Essentially, that's how it's going to work. We can go ahead and actually run this right now. And you're going to see that we get A is equal to B. And that is the how we use if-else in TypeScript. Hello there, and welcome back to this Angular course, where today we're going to be having a look at our last lesson in Unit 2, other than the exercise and its solution, of course, but the last actual exercise in Unit 2. So today we're going to be going over loops, which just allow us to do multiple things, multiple times. So I'm going to stop babbling on here. Let's go ahead and have a look at how we can actually use them. All right, here we are in our text editor. Let's go ahead and create a variable A. Let's assign it the value 1. Then let's create a for loop here. Actually, no, you know what? We don't actually need the variable A. I don't know what I was doing there. For declare a variable var A equals 1. A is less than 10, A++. There we go. So here we're just declaring the variable. Here we're giving it the condition under which to run the loop. If this is going to return true, it's going to run the loop. Again, if it returns false, it's going to stop running the loop. And this is something that, this is an action that's going to happen at every single iteration of the loop. So here we can do console.log A. All right, there we go. So what this is actually going to do is it's going to go ahead and print A, I think 9 times. Whoops, what's going on? Lesson 2. Oh, whoops, we didn't compile it. I was accidentally running it. There we go. Let's compile it, and then finally let's run it. All right, there we go. You can see now that it prints all numbers from 1 to 9. If we make this 0, then it's going to print all numbers from 0 to 9. Whoops. Got to recompile it, of course. Then now it prints all numbers from. Wait, what? I forgot to save it. What an idiot. There we go. Now we should finally have it running. There it is. 0 to 9. Awesome. Okay, so while loops, they work roughly the same way. Let me go and comment this out here. For loops. There we go. So this is just so that when you're downloading the code, you can go and comment out which part you actually want to run and see how that runs, just so that you don't get everything running at once. Okay, so here we're going to do while loops. All right, while loops. So here, what we're going to, so the while loop, it works roughly the same, just it doesn't have as much infrastructure, sort of. So here we can do while, and then we can insert some Boolean here. So we can do A equals 1 here. Whoops, we've got to do var A equals 1. Then we're going to do while A is less than 10. We're going to do console.log A. I have to make it to 0. Console.log A, and then do A++. We could have actually done A++ in the console.log, but whatever. All right, so this essentially right here is the same exact thing as this right here. So while it's just going to take in a Boolean, just like the for loop. And while that Boolean is true, it's going to keep on executing whatever we have in between these curly brackets here. So let's go ahead and run that. And let's go ahead and compile that. And now let's run it. And there we go. You can see that it prints all numbers from 0 to 9. Okay, awesome. And those are while loops. Well, one last thing that we do need to go over with a while loop, we also have a do while loop. So we can do, for example, do like that. Or actually, no, we don't need to add that. We can just do, then copy this while, and then paste it down here. Whoops. There we go. This is called a do while loop. So essentially, if we make, for example, a equal to 11, okay, what the do while loop is going to do is it's going to execute whatever is in between these this do curly brackets, these first curly brackets, and then check if it should execute it again. So just while loop, if the initial condition is false, it's not going to execute anything. While with the do while loop, if the condition is false, it's going to execute whatever is in between the curly brackets once. So you can see now that if we do go ahead and compile this and run it, we get 11. So it does execute it once. So even though this right here evaluates to false, so a 11 is not less than 10, it's false, it's still going to run this once. All right, awesome. So I'm going to go and revert this back into the while loop just because that's sort of a different type of while loop, so that when you download the code, you know exactly what's going on there. All right, awesome. That's the while loop.